a super fun topic with Terry. And so if you could please go ahead.
My name is Terry Bolton. I am the Safe Environment Coordinator for the Cathedral of Our Lady of Walsingham. I also act as the office manager. And of course, any of you who work in the church or volunteer in the church, there are many more hats that we wear, but those are my main hats for here. As Catalina said, I come to you with a very fun topic, but it's a very important topic, and it's a topic of safe environment with emphasis on sexual abuse of children. First off, you will have a handout. I'm going to start it on this side and one on this side. If you'll just pass it back. If we start to run short, if you're here with your significant other, just share. It's two-sided. On one side, it has a list of resources, which we will go over very briefly at the end of my talk. And then on the other side, it tells you how to report sexual abuse or suspected sexual abuse. That's also listed in your handbooks, which I believe you will be receiving soon, on page 6, and then again on pages 15 and 16. So that is repeated in your handbook. As I said, my topic is not a fun topic, but it is one that's an important one, and it's one I'm very passionate about because the church has taken a lead in helping make sure parents, as primary educators of their children, not only in their faith, but in their safety as well, has really been instrumental in making this happen. Unfortunately, sexual abuse is very common. 1 out of 4 girls and 1 out of 6 to 8 boys are sexually abused prior to the age of 18. Unfortunately, 95%, according to statistics, happen within the home. Not at church, not at Boy Scouts, not at Girl Scouts, not at a camping event, but at home. Why? Because that's where they are the most comfortable. That's where a lot of times we let our guard down because we are at home. But we have resources, and a little bit of what I'm going to share with you today will help you avoid some of the pitfalls that we don't even consider a pitfall when it comes to teaching our children what we classify as healthy boundaries. We all have boundaries. Some boundaries are fluid and some are stuck in concrete. Okay, so I'm going to go over a little bit with you. We also need to know that there are more than just physical boundaries, which are ones I'm going to discuss today. There are also emotional boundaries as well as behavioral boundaries. But we're going to stick with physical boundaries first. Topics of conversation that we encourage you to talk to your children about is number 1, first and foremost, the dignity of the human person. As Catholic Christians, we believe that our bodies were created in the image and likeness of God, and therefore they're sacred. So we should treat our bodies as such, but also you should treat my body as sacred as well. And so we're going to start there with the little ones, that they know that they're holy, their bodies are holy, and they should be treated as such by everyone. And that includes mom and dad, or whoever the guardians are. It's not just these people out here, it's us too as mom and dad. The other thing we're going to ask you to think about is safety. We all teach our children something about safety. So what I want you to do, and you blurt it out, tell me something you've taught your child as a safety measure. Anything. To stay safe. Any talk.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. What?
Don't open the pool fence.
Don't open the pool fence. Why? Because if you don't swim, you might drown. Stranger danger. You don't know them, so you don't know what they're going to do. What else?
Don't jump off the kitchen
Oh my goodness. Yes. Don't jump off the kitchen counter. Why? Because you might break a leg or hit your head on the way down on the counter. That would be what would happen to me. Okay, one more. What else do we teach?
Your body is private for you. It's a sacred space of your own.
Okay, your body is private. One of the things that you will learn, and you probably already know, is nobody should touch your child anywhere that's considered private, which is covered by a bathing suit or undergarments. And that applies to both men, boys and girls. Okay? Whatever that looks like as far as what's covered, that's off limits. Okay? So, other things we teach our kids that we know about are using child restraints, car seats, seat belts, helmets when you ride a bike. You know, you get the look of, come on, Mom, I look stupid in a helmet. or it's too hot. Okay, so, but what do? We say, nope, that boundary's firm, and we say no, because we want you to do that. Why? Because if you go splat on the ground, hopefully you won't hurt your head. Okay, now, speaking of safety, and I always turn to Laura every time I give this talk, because car seats and seat belts were not even around when we were little. Okay, they weren't. You know, our seat belt was our mother's arm, right in the neck, right? To this day, my son is almost 40, and if he's in the front seat with me and I'm traveling and I gotta throw my brake on, what happens? He says, God, Mom, I'm grown. I know, I get it. But, so those things, and since we made it, we're still here. But what happened is throughout time and history, we realized, oh, you know what? They're probably safer. Mom's arm did not keep Junior from flying through the windshield as much as she tried. Okay, so we come up with safety measures. The safety measure of healthy boundaries is another layer of safety that you need to look at it that way. Yes, it's an uncomfortable topic, especially when it comes to sexual abuse. But if you look around the room, according to statistics, you're probably in the room and sharing the room with someone who's been sexually abused. So these boundaries are not only for children to learn, but they're also for us as adults to learn as well on how we need to treat other people, especially when we don't know them and we do not know their background. We'll get a little more into that later. We already talked about boundaries. They come and they go. They are meant to be flexible, while others are meant to be steadfast. Let me give you an example. And I always have to preface this with dating as far as I think people should date, as well as most of us as Catholics think people should date. What the secular world now expects of dating is very different, right? And that's partly why you're here at Holy House Academy and in Our Lady of Walsingham, because we support you in that effort of, this is how dating should look. Okay, boundaries. We've got Dick and Jane. They meet each other at school. They like each other. Let's say they're seniors in high school. So they start kind of flirting with each other, but they don't want to hold hands and they don't want to do this yet because they don't know each other, right? So those boundaries are out here. Okay, so flash forward a couple of months. They go to college. They happen to go to the same college, and they wind up getting to know each other a little better. Okay, so now they're going out for dinner, they're going out for coffee, they're meeting each other in the morning before study, and they start to maybe give each other a kiss goodnight. They start to hold each other's hands. So what's happening? Those boundaries are moving a little bit, right? They're moving in a little bit. I'm gonna let them get a little closer. Okay, so now they're engaged. So now they're spending a whole lot more time together. They've probably been in a few arguments when it comes to who's doing what at the wedding. Okay, so now they're spending more time together. Their embraces might be getting a little bit longer. Their kisses might be getting more frequent. So what's happening? Hello, come on in. So what happens is that boundary moves even closer. Now they get married. You would think the boundary's wide open, right? They're married. No. We still have a boundary that even our husbands and our spouses are not going to cross, right? There are certain things that even though you're my husband, I will not allow you to do. Okay, so those boundaries only are fluid so much. Now they can go the other way too. If I start to not trust, I stick those boundaries out even more. Think of a hula hoop. Okay, that's your boundary. Okay, you can move it in. I'm not going to try and juggle it. Okay, but you can move it in and out. But there are those that steadfast, they never change. Those are the ones we need to teach the little ones. Okay, and they're pretty much instinctual if you listen to them. Okay, and that's part of our problems as parents is we don't always listen. Okay, safe touch versus unsafe touch. Think about that for a minute. What is a safe touch to you? Just give an answer.
High five.
Huh? High five, okay.
Well, hugging my mom, but that's like a family member.
Okay, we'll take that for now. Okay, anything else? What's this?
Slap on the back after a good play in baseball.
As long as it's not a hard slap on the back. Yeah.
A pat on the shoulder if you just shared some sad news, you know. Pat on the
Okay,
shoulder.
tap on the shoulder. Okay. All right. All of these sound like they would be safe touches, right? Here's an example of when they wouldn't be so safe. Okay. We have this is a true story. I have a session with mostly women, and I'm from Texas, y'all. So I like to hug. I'm a touchy-feely person, and these sessions taught me otherwise. So people come in the room and I'm all, I'm just grabbing and giving a hug. Welcome, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad you're here. Not everybody likes to be touched, right? You don't know where they're coming from. If someone's been abused by someone, they're not going to really enjoy a touch by someone they don't know. Okay, so be careful. That pat on the back you think is innocent, it's a touch that somebody may not appreciate. So I had to learn the hard way of not doing that. Okay, just can't do that. We teach our little ones that, then they learn they just don't go around touching people, therefore, reciprocal, people just don't come and touch me. So it helps them learn, that boundary of touch. Touch is very intimate. Okay, it's a very intimate move. Okay. Another thing I had to learn, which is kind of embarrassed to say, is pregnant women are so cute. They're adorable, especially now that we don't wear tents for maternity clothes. So I just love to rub a woman's belly when she's pregnant. And I have been known to just, oh my gosh, and I would just go touch. It's like, oh my God. I just touched this woman, and not only that, I touched her baby. I didn't even ask permission. So now what I'll do, and most women will say, of course, and they just beam, can I please, what's your baby's name? And if they have a name, can I touch Ambrose, please? And they'll let me do it. But ask before you touch. Okay, so that's what we need to teach our children. Now, what's an unsafe touch? So now you're thinking, well, everything. What is an unsafe touch to you?
Anywhere inappropriate.
Anything inappropriate?
Anywhere.
Anywhere inappropriate. Okay,
Your
good.
private parts.
Good,
Your
okay.
private parts.
What else is inappropriate?
Often tickling.
Good answer. We'll get to why in a minute. What else is inappropriate? One more.
You just touching somebody.
Unsolicited, okay, that's great. Right. Anything that's considered abusive as far as hitting, biting, punching, that's always inappropriate and should never be done. Ever. Ever. Okay? So, tickling. Tickling is fun for some people. Tickling is a grooming technique for predators. Tickling for some is very painful. Okay? I do not like to be tickled. It hurts. I don't know why, it does. Okay? So tickling, that's really more for mom and dad to figure out with your children. Tickling their little feet or, goosing them or whatever. But that's not for anybody else to do, ever. Okay? Because you don't know what they like, what they feel, and it's also it's a grooming technique that predators will use. Okay, because it makes them giggle, it makes them laugh, and they think they're having fun. Okay. Tickling also, and a lot of times, moves towards those private parts. Okay. Down here, along the back, those are things that we shouldn't be dealing with little ones, much less adults. So if we learn not to do that with each other, we can teach them not to do it with each other. Or expect it from an adult that they don't know. Okay. So, now that I kind of shook you up on safe and unsafe touches. Okay. The other thing we need to teach your children is to have the ability to say no. Have the ability to say, I don't like the way that feels when you touch me like that. Or stop. And that means even with mom and dad. Okay? 2 reasons. If they tell you to stop, you should dignify that. You want to find out why, maybe, why does that bother you? Tell me, what is it, so I don't do it again, or so that we change our behavior. The other one is, children have a sense just like we do. How many of you have felt the hair crawl up on the back of your neck when you're around somebody you can't trust? And you may not even know them well. I think mothers have it a little more keener than men, but you get that feeling, it's like, oh no, we don't need to be here, let's switch and go somewhere else. Okay, children have that same thing, but what parents do, and unknown to them that they're doing it, is we tend to share and assign our feeling of safety onto our children. Just because we feel safe in a situation doesn't mean they do. So we need to listen to what they're saying, either verbally or with their bodies. Here's another true story. My husband and I were going to a family event. I don't know if I think it was a wedding. And I bet everybody in here has been part of a family event like a wedding or a funeral where you've all gotten together and you haven't seen each other in 10, 15 years, right? So everybody's hugging, everybody's talking, and it's time to depart. So we're departing, and my sister-in-law, my nephew is 6 years old at the time. My husband's 6'3", kind of a big guy. He doesn't see us very often. John, my nephew. Anyway, so we're all getting ready to depart, go our own ways. Now remember, we're from Texas, y'all. So everybody has to hug and kiss goodbye. So my sister-in-law pushes John and says, "Go give Uncle Richard a hug goodbye." John does this. He takes a step back. Well, that's rude. To a Southern, that's rude. You're supposed to give him so she kept trying to prod him to go. He stepped back. So my husband and I had done these trainings before. So my husband puts one hand behind his back, takes a step. He has size 14, so he's got a good foundation to take a step on. Puts his hand out and says, "John, let's do a handshake. That's more adult." John accepted that. Why?
Far less intimate.
He didn't get engulfed and have to touch all over the place with this man he did not know. Even though he is Uncle Richard, he doesn't know Uncle Richard. So, being the safe environment person that I am, I had to pull my sister-in-law aside and tell her, "Don't do that, because you're setting John up to do this. Come on, John, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to give you a hug from anybody." And John would say, "Okay." Because John was made to disregard how he felt. Okay, so never, ever, ever make them hug or kiss or hold hands or anything with someone they don't feel comfortable with. That includes mom and dad. Find out what's uncomfortable with them. Okay, so those are the things we have to do. Sexual abuse thrives on silence, secrets, sweeping under the rug. So if anytime your children, I don't care what age they are, either they can't speak and they give you some sort of vibe that what you're doing with them they're not comfortable with, or they're old enough to kind of talk to you and they say, "Mom, Dad, whoever, I need to talk, I want to talk to you because I didn't like what happened, my body doesn't feel right, I want to share with you what's going on." I don't care what you're doing, working from home, on a computer, on a phone call, watching your favorite soap opera, whatever episode it is on Netflix. You need to stop what you're doing, you need to turn to that child, and you need to listen. Here's why. If they've mustered the courage to come and talk to you right then, and you dismiss it, they may not come back. They may not want to talk again. So you need to really listen to them when they want to talk. That's at any age, even your grown children, am I right? I've got 3 grown children and 3 grandchildren. You need to stop and listen to what they're saying. Internet use. I don't envy parents today. When I had my children and they were young, Laura and I talk about this too, we had a computer that was attached to the wall, and you do, and you knew you had signal, and I could stand there and I could watch everything my children had on the screen. I could see what they were doing. You can't do that anymore. Why? Who has a phone? Because it's all right here. And they can take it with them anywhere. They can take it with them into the bedroom. They can cover their heads with their sheets, and they can do whatever they want, talk to whoever they want, and almost anyone who wants to see them can see them. So I don't envy you at all. There are, we'll go over a little bit, we'll at least give you the tools with which to help teach your children internet safety. True story, I was in school long ago. I was in a junior college. I was doing a government research paper, and I wanted to look some statistics up for the White House. I typed in whitehouse.com. I did not get information on the White House. I got more than what my little eyes wanted to see as far as pornographic material. Why? Because I didn't know the difference between .com, .net, .gov, .edu. Now, they're growing up with all that now. I did not, so they probably wouldn't make that mistake. But don't think that that can't happen and it just pops up in front of their face. They need to know what to do when that happens. Okay, so just be very, very cautious. Pornography is used by predators as a grooming tool, especially for teenagers. We're humans, we have appetites. In our teachings, we understand that we have those, but we also understand our virtues help us curb those appetites, right? Groomers don't think about that. So they will hone in on teenagers especially, because teenagers are very curious about what sex is, what it means, how to do it, and the groomers will pick up on that fast. So you have to be very, very cautious. Talk to your children from this age up about internet safety, and we'll give you some pointers on how to do that. Okay, boundaries, talk about them. Yes, we have them. Yes, some are straightforward and stuck in one position, and some are able to move in and out, and that's a healthy one. You need to listen to what your children are saying and pay attention to their behavior, always. Okay, now we're going to flip over to a couple of resources. Whatever order you want. These resources are on your handout. They're also available to you online, where you can just go and click on the website reference. This is on the Ordinariate website for Safe Environment. You can go and make an account for yourself with CMG. That's, yeah, Catholic Mutual Group. If you don't know if you have an account or not, we can tell you. If you've done training in the past, which some of you have, you already have an existing account, you can sign in and go and view, since they've got wonderful videos. The ones that we really want you to take a look at are Safe Haven. It's up to you. Establishing Boundaries is also one. Anti-bullying and technology training for parents. They're very good. They're free. They don't cost you anything. We're not going to make you sign up for extra service hours. So just, just do it. That's okay. If you have to sign up for a new account, if you also do any kind of volunteer work for the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston, you have to use a different email account if you want to open an account through the Ordinariate website. The reason being, dioceses keep their own records when it comes to safe environment training because of auditing purposes. So we have to have our own records, and then the Archdiocese needs their own. If you have any issues getting on that you would like to, you can contact any of us or myself as a Safe Environment Coordinator, and I'll help you through the process. Okay, pick one. Knights of Columbus. Knights of Columbus has a very well done guide for parents. It's it's either about a 30-minute video, or you can watch it in segments, which they've pulled out. It's based on, this family that put this together is based on their true story of their 9-year-old being sexually abused by a family friend. This mom and dad share that they thought they had done everything they possibly could and covered all the bases for their children to be safe. Is it possible to cover everything? No, it's not. But they thought they had. So when they went back and looked at the progression of everything that happened, they did see some red flags that they should have caught. One thing that they did that they had no idea would set their son up even more for abuse was this. They were very close. They were family friends that became closer over time. Many of us have had young children that we've got extended family that, second cousin 3 removed, or a really close friend that's always over, and we've got children that it's kind of rude for them to call them by their first name because they're grown-ups, right? So, but we don't want them to have to call them Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That's a little hard. So what a lot of families will do is they will assign a familial name to someone who's not family. For instance, in this family, these friends became Uncle Frank and Aunt Jane. But they're not really Uncle Frank and Aunt Jane. So why does that set a child up for confusion and trust? Okay? Usually, I say usually, we can trust our family members much more so than we can just our friend down the street, right? But if we assign our friend down the street a family role, that child's going to associate it with a family member and trust them more. So don't do that. Okay. So there's lots of stuff that they've got videos and everything for you to look at with the Knights of Columbus. Diocese of Manchester. Dioceses across the United States share information with each other so that we don't reinvent the wheel. The Diocese of Manchester has created Circles of Care, which is Catholic, which is hard sometimes for us to find Catholic material. They have printout lesson plans that you can use as far as grade levels and age levels. These are free, you can print them out, you can use them. They also, some of them will reference books. They're like children's books. If you want to buy those online, you can, but you don't have to. So again, these are free of charge and very well done. One of the next things is NetSmart's Kids. This is internet safety based for an elementary school age group. I suggest if you watch these, watch them with your children so that you can support this effort while they're on the internet, okay? They're very well done. There's also activities that you can do with your kids. It's a very well done. This is another one, Kids Smart. It's put out by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They also have a lot of good resources for you as parents, godparents, grandparents, whoever your children are with a lot. Do the training. Spend some time with them. You're already doing the homeschool. Make this part of your homeschool routine. Once a week. Okay, next. That's it. That's it. Like I said, all these are on the website for you. They're on Ordinariate. The Ordinariate's website, you can click, if you'll show them that.
Ordinariate.net right here, Safe Environment, and there's a bunch of resources right here.
Yeah. A whole slew of stuff. So all of us here, oh, I didn't ask you to fill, I'm so sorry. Okay, I need you to sign this. When it asks you for number of children, it means the number of children that are in the process, in HHA, not how many you have at home, although that number might be the same, but we're looking for how many you have in the academy. Also, where it says decline and accept resource, you're signing yes because you accepted the resource that was handed out to you. That's what it is. It's not setting you up for anything that you don't know about. Okay? Did everybody get a handout?
I didn't.
Okay. Did she? Okay. We'll make sure you get one. If the front page fills up, just flip it to the next page. It's the same for you to sign.
So we will have an audit from the USCCB in the summer, and this is why it's very important for us to keep this documentation so that this is a requirement from the United States Bishops Conference, so we follow what they tell us to do, okay? So if I can give you that and you can fill that out for us. While you're filling out that information, let's move on to Brighter Horizons. What I'm going to talk to you about with the next thing in our presentation was going to be financial